Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the modern deck Amulet Titan. Now this deck, it's definitely one of the more confusing decks that exists, and I just figured I should make a video on it so that people actually know what's going on and how to stop it or play it if they want to. So the point of the deck is to use Amulet of Vigor to generate an insane amount of mana so that you can play Primeval Titan, which can make even more mana and then just win you the game, basically. Now, what Amulet of Vigor does is it's a 1 mana artifact that says whenever a permanent enters the battlefield tapped under your control, untap it. Now, notice the key part of text is that it doesn't have it enter untapped, it says untap it, so that if you have multiple, there will be multiple untap triggers. So if it's a land, and it's tapped, you untap it, tap it for mana, and then untap it again. And you can get extra mana out of it by doing that. And also through bounce lands, which are lands that enter tapped, and when they enter, you return a land you control to its owner's hand, and they tap for 2 mana instead of 1. So you play that, you untap it, bounce it to your hand, but before you bounce it, you tap it for mana. And then if you have extra land drops, you can do that again, and then you're up to 6 mana, which can let you cast your Primeval Titan. The way the deck wants to win is through 2 things. It either wants to play a Primeval Titan and then have it enter the battlefield. Normally when it enters the battlefield, you're going to find, it's got a lot of crazy lands. You're going to find Slayer's Stronghold. It can tap for colorless, and you can pay red and white and tap it to give something +2/+0 and vigilance and haste until end of turn, which can allow you to attack with the Titan, and then get the trigger again, so it's 2 free lands onto the field. Remember, the Titan is a 6/6 with trample for 6, which I guess I forgot to mention before. Whenever it enters or attacks, you can search the library for 2 land cards, not basic, just land, and then put them on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. So anyway, you get Slayer's Stronghold and Boros Garrison, assuming you have an Amulet out, and then Garrison untaps, and then, you can give it +2/+0 and vigilance and haste until end of turn, and then you're attacking with an 8/6 Trampler, and that's a lot. And then you get the attack trigger, which there's a specific combo to the deck, which is Dryad of the Elysian Grove, which is a 3-cost 2/4 that says you can play an additional land on each of your turns, and lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. And then that can make everything a mountain for Valakut, which there are 2 of. And Valakut enters tapped, and whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, if you have at least 5 other mountains, you may have Valakut deal 3 damage to target free-to-roll player. So lightning bolt, basically. So then, if you can get them on the battlefield at the same time, then they each trigger off of themselves and each other, which instantly deals 12 damage to their face, and you're already attacking for 8 trample. And you just deal 6 damage whenever a land comes in, which can just win you the game. But you need to have 5 or more lands and Dryad, so that's kind of hard to assemble. Another way you can win is Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, which capture a colorless, and you can pay for it to give something double strike until end of turn. And Boros Garrison, again, can generate that mana, and then you need 2 mana from other stuff, which you're probably going to be able to get. And, you're attacking for 16 damage there, which can also win the game pretty quickly. Now, some of the creatures in the deck are also Arboreal Grazer, 0/3 with reach. When it enters, you can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. And, it can put extra lands on play, and it's also a great blocker. Not to mention, I should probably say this, don't try to race an Amulet Titan deck. It's faster than you are, normally. If you really want to beat it, you really have to sideboard in cards that can beat it and try to slow them down, rather than trying to speed up your own game plan. And then Zeus and Lost But Seeking, 3 mana 1/2. You can play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. So second turn, assuming you ramped with Grazer, you can. Actually, assuming you played Amulet first turn, you can then play Azusa, and then. No, you play a bounce land, and then Azusa, 2 more bounce lands, well, the same one twice, and then you've already generated 4 extra mana, which you can maybe channel into Dread, which by then you're on the way to casting your Primeval Titan. This just it speeds up your game plan so much, it's insane. I'd say this is definitely a removal target. Normally what beats this deck is very, interactive decks and stuff like that. And Cultivator Colossus. It costs 7 mana for an XX trample, and its power depths are equal to the number of lands you control, or synergizing. And when it's battlefield, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat the process. So basically, you play a land, and then you draw a card, and then play another land, and then you keep doing this until you can't put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So yeah, you can just normally add 15 mana from this with Amulet of Vigor, and also, when I first saw the deck, I thought it went infinite with bounce lands, but really the bounce lands, because this is the middle of the trigger, bounce lands trigger after you already put the lands onto the battlefield. So that's also worth noting. And then, I feel we already talked about Dragon Deals in the Grove. You can play an extra land, and lands are every basic land type. And then spells. Over here. Summoner's Pact. It's a 0 mana instant. You can search a library for a green creature card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And at the beginning of your next upkeep, you may pay 4. If you don't, you lose the game. Now, this is a really great tutor for the deck, because normally whatever you get is going to give you enough mana to pay for it. And it also has synergy with some of the lands in the deck that I'll explain later. But most of the time it's going to be used to fetch Titan, or sometimes Dryad if they're trying to assemble the Valkut combo. Explore, just a good ramp card. 2 mana, you can play an additional land this turn, draw a card. And turn Timber Symbiosis. This is really just an MDFC, because that means that it's a land on the back and it just tapped unless you pay 3 life. And for it, you can look at the top 7 cards out, put a creature from among them onto the battlefield. If it has converted mana cost 3 or less, it enters with 3 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So, I guess if you don't have anything big to play with all the mana you're generating, turn Timber Symbiosis is good in the deck. And then for the artifacts, Amulet of Vigor, we already talked about that. Expedition Map. It's a 1 mana artifact, and you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to search a library for any land card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Now, this is, it's got a lot of utility land, so it's actually pretty useful in the deck. And Relic of Progenitus for graveyard hate. And then the mana base. Oh god, that has a lot of mana base. So, this deck normally has more lands than other decks, about 30 lands, I think, normally. It has Beseju Who Endures, which, it's a green deck, of course it's going to have that. But it's also a lot better in this deck, because you can channel it to destroy an artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. And then, and then they get to ramp. But one interesting synergy is that you can fetch it with most of your other land things and put it onto the battlefield, especially Titan, and then a bounce land can bounce it back to its owner's hand, where you can use the mana from the bounce land to activate the channel ability. Also note that Azusa is legendary and will reduce the cost to 1. Cavern of Souls, this is an interesting card. It doesn't have obvious synergy, right, when you first see it. Whenever you choose a creature type, and it can add 1 mana of a color, but you use it only to cast the creature spell of the chosen type, and it can't be countered. Now, the special barriers can't be countered. You just use it to make sure that you can resolve your Titan, and they're normally going to be choosing Giant, because that's the only creature type that Titan has, even though it should be a Titan. Urza's Saga. Now, this is very interesting in the deck. It taps for a colorless, and on the second turn, you can make constructs, where it gets counters for each other artifact you control. And yeah, you can activate this ability a lot, and they get plus for each other counter. And the deck also, and they also get plus for Amulet of Vigor, which is nice. One other synergy, probably the best thing. Search your library for an artifact card with mana value 0 or 1. Put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. I wonder what has mana value 0 or 1. Yeah, Amulet of Vigor. And anyway, Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, I feel like we talked about this already. It's like the win con. Vesuva. It can enter tapped as a copy of a land. Normally, it's going to get untapped. And it's really, normally a fail-safe in case something happens to one of the Valakuts. And yeah, it can also be useful because you can just copy a bounced land with it. Forests, you gotta have forests. And Gruul Turf, Simic Growth Chamber, Centralia Sanctuary, and Boros Garrison are all bounced lands, like I talked about. It's they're just in different colors. Solaria West. Now this is the card that has synergy with Summoner's Pact, because that's the benefit of tap, and it taps for a blue, but for 3 you can transmute it. So you can discard and search library for a card with mana value 0, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Transmute only as a sorcery. And all the lands in the deck have mana value 0, and so does Summoner's Pact. So if you need to get a green creature, then you normally just use that to fetch Summoner's Pact, and then you can use Summoner's Pact to go get a creature. Normally Primeval Titan or Dryad. So yeah, it's actually really useful in the deck. And I think that's the only reason to run blue mana. Castle Garenbrig. It taps unless you control a forest, and it taps for green, and you can pay for and tap it to add 6. Spend it only cast creature spells or activate abilities of creatures. So yeah, it can allow you to, in a tight spot, it can let you get your Titan out for 5 mana, because the Titan costs 6. Bounce land. And Slayer Stronghold and Sunhome, we talked about these already. You fetch them and you have your Titan abilities. Radiant Fountain. When enters, you gain 2 life. Really just a card that gets you life gain in a pinch. Bajuka Bog, it lets you exile someone's graveyard, which is good against graveyard decks, obviously. Crumbling Vestige. Now this is good if something happens and you can't really get your amulet out while still being useful if you can, because it enters tapped, and when it enters, you add 1 mana of any color in your mana pool, but it only taps for colorless, so you can get any color on the first turn and then it taps for colorless. So yeah, it's not completely useless if you don't have your amulet, and it can generate 2 mana if you do. And in the sideboard, just some pretty normal green sideboard stuff. Force of Vigor for artifacts and enchantments, Endurance for graveyards, Engineered Explosives for, I don't know, whatever Engineered Explosives does. I have more Besage you against artifacts and enchantments. Emrakul if you really just need something to ramp into. Tireless Tracker, it's always a good thing to have. Cavern of Souls against counterspell decks. Dismember, it's removal that can be in colors that don't get access to a lot of removal. And plus, Crumbling Vestige can add mana of any color, so you can save yourself 2 life with it. And then Pithing Needle stops activated abilities, and Relic of Progenitus, yeah, graveyard hate. Now, really, what's going to be good about this deck is anything with a lot of instant speed, interaction, and counter spells. Because you really want to stop them from getting their Primeval Titan out, and you want to get rid of Amulet of Vigor, like right as it comes out. And yeah. Now, normally they don't get Valakut right away. They get, Slayer's Stronghold and Boros Garrison, which gives you that point in between to interact with it, if you need to. Although, if you're using counter spells, just try to, in the first game, try to pretend like you don't have a lot of counter spells, so they don't try to play around with Cavern of Souls, because that can stop things from being countered. And yeah, I'm not sure there's really much more that you can say about this deck. Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you think I missed anything about the deck or any weird experience you've had with it. And bye. See you next time.